caring for it, well, you sort of put your heart and soul into it. It becomes a part of you. Through the last generation stuff, like I suppose there's no one's done the totally right thing, I guess, but you do manage the land to the best of your ability. If you look after the land, it'll look after you.
Adolescent boys don't tend to talk about anything anyway to anyone except grunt, and so I was probably not immune to that, and so I think there was just this assumption that I'd be interested in the farm and grown into that position of responsibility. It's the lines between wanting to be here and expected to be here are very much blurred for me. It's not black and white at all.
My family, we had a farm once, but nobody's on the land now. Was that bad? Heather's family had a farm, both sides. They don't anymore.
People often say to me, how long have you been on this farm? Well, I said, I don't know. I said, my mother never told me how long she kept me in hospital when I was born. And that's a fact.
And yeah, I've always wanted to be a farmer. Probably because my dad was one. He'd been here all my life. My father still lives on a block which was originally selected. And I followed him around, and there seemed to be always something new every day, or hooing up the paddock, you know, it was all very exciting.
If the farming game was easy, everybody'd be doing it, but it is selective. As I say, it's got to be in your blood. You don't necessarily have to be born into it, but you got to have a fair bit of commitment and a fairly big ticker to have a crack at it.
Definitely in the long run, the space about here and the no noise, it's definitely something in your bones that you can't get rid of.
Well, it's been in the family over 100 years. So out of the 5 sons going back to my grandfather, Graham's the only one who's still on the land. Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate having Graham want to go on farming, because most sons make much more money in the city shuffling paper or being a merchant banker or playing the stock market and being a farmer.
I've been my father's right-hand man for 30 years that I've been farming.
Yeah, delegation.
And I'm not knocking Dad, it's just causing conflict. And I've decided, look, I've got to make a break. While I've got Dad about, I've got to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm not going to ring Dad, I'm going to make my own decisions, whether they're good or bad.
Me and a brother and the father formed a company. Never mind about the rest of the family, there's only those 3 in it. Not 1 acre have I got that belonged to my father. He said, you looked after yourself? I said, I looked after everybody else too, but he said, they can't manage it. You're all right, he'll still be able to go on.
Well, the thing that my sister said is, I hope this isn't throwing my parents into the shit a bit, but she felt like she'd never really been asked. Maybe there's just that traditional kind of assumption that, the boy would go and work on the farm.
It concerns me a little bit, the future. What are these boys going to do? They're not going to have enough time to look after it properly, and they're not going to make much of it. But their main thoughts on me not selling it is the sentimental value they have in it. They're about the 4th generation of Merkles that have owned this ground. Apart from the fact that I've been here all my life, I like ground, I like working on a farm.